There was once a man who had no money, no army, no throne, no house, no position, and still the world today counts time by. His name. 2,000 years ago, a child was born, not in a palace, but in a small, dirty stable surrounded by animals. His first bed was a wooden manger. People ignored him. They didn't know that hope itself had entered the world. He grew up simple, unknown, ordinary, and yet inside him lived a power the world could not understand, a power stronger than fear, stronger than pain, stronger than death. A man who touched a blind man and he opened his eyes, a man who spoke to storms and they obeyed, a man who fed thousands with almost nothing. And here is the mystery. The world remembers people after they leave, but Jesus is remembered because he changed the world while he was still here. And if you have ever felt weak, broken, betrayed, or not enough, then don't leave, because the story you're about to hear may change the way you see your life forever. He was 30 years old when his real journey began. At an age where most people doubt themselves, give up, or settle for less, he stepped into his purpose. He did not search for the rich or the powerful. He walked toward fishermen, laborers, tax collectors, sinners, the forgotten ones, the rejected ones, and he said, "Follow me." And somehow those simple words changed everything. Because a great story never begins with perfect people. It begins with broken ones who choose to stand again. One morning, he walked into a small village. People ran toward him, the sick, the weak, the ones society threw away. A man with no strength to walk was placed at his feet. His friends whispered, "Rabbi, please help him." Jesus looked at him and said, "Stand up, take your mat, and walk." And the world watched him rise for the first time in years. Faith is not about what you see, it is about what you believe before you see it. There was another day when thousands of people came to hear him. They stood for hours, hungry and tired. His followers said, "Let them go, Master, we have nothing to give." Jesus looked at the small basket, 5 bread, 2 fish, and he lifted it up. He thanked God even when it wasn't enough, and that is where miracles begin, when you are grateful for what you have instead of crying for what you don't. He fed every single person that day, and food was left over, because abundance begins where faith replaces fear. Still, his life was not easy. With every miracle, his enemies grew. The more he lifted people up, the more others tried to pull him down. Some said he was a liar, others said demon, others laughed at him, mocked him, cursed him, and yet he looked at them with love, because love is strongest only when it is hardest to give. One night, a storm roared across the sea. His students were trapped in a boat, waves crashing, sky tearing open, lightning on every side. They screamed, "Lord, we will die." Jesus walked toward them on the water, calm, steady, fearless, and when they saw him, they cried, "Master, save us." He said, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still not believe?" And with a whisper, "Peace, be still," the storm fell silent. Sometimes God does not remove the storm. He simply stands with you inside it. He became a voice for those who never had one. When a woman was dragged into the streets, accused and surrounded by stones ready to kill her, Jesus stepped between her and the world and said, "Let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Silence filled the air. One by one, stones fell to the ground. Mercy defeated violence that day. And he looked at her and said, "You are forgiven. Go and live differently. You are more than your past." But the world does not always understand goodness. They feared him because they could not control him. They hated him because he shook their comfort. And the same people who once screamed, "Hosanna," soon screamed, "Crucify him." He knew betrayal. He knew pain. His closest friend denied even knowing him. A kiss on his cheek became a sign to arrest him.
The hands that healed the world were now tied and beaten. The man who lifted others was now forced to carry a wooden cross, and yet he did not curse, he did not fight, he walked. Step by step, up the hill called Golgotha, his body bleeding, his back torn, his heart heavy, but his eyes still full of compassion. People spit at him, soldiers laughed. They pushed a crown of thorns on his head, each thorn like fire in his skin. Still, he whispered, "Father, forgive them. They do not know what they are doing." Imagine the power of a man who forgives even while being destroyed. On that cross, between earth and sky, he took every wound, every fear, every sin. And when the world believed the story was over, he said, "It is finished," and breathed his last. Darkness covered the land. Hope looked dead. Silence controlled the world. For 3 days the grave held its breath, but stories written by God never end where human eyes think they should. On the third morning, the stone was rolled away. The impossible became reality. Death trembled, and the world shook because he rose. He walked again. He lived again. His message was not, "I died." His message was, "I conquered." Even death bows before purpose. And here is where the story touches us. He did not rise to prove he was powerful. He rose to prove that you are not hopeless. He rose to show that no pain is final, no failure permanent, no night forever. He rose to teach that a broken heart can beat again, a shattered dream can live again, a lost life can be reborn. So if you are watching this thinking you are too weak, too late, too imperfect, remember this: God began his greatest story in a stable. If he can use wood to save the world, he can use wounds to shape your destiny. What you call the end, God calls the beginning. Your story is not over. Your cross is not punishment, it is the path to resurrection. And now ask yourself, who are you in this story? Are you the one afraid in the storm? Are you the one lying broken on the ground? Are you the one who thinks you are unforgivable? Or are you the one who will finally stand and say, "I choose to believe"? If Jesus could walk through betrayal, pain, and death and still rise, then so can you. You are stronger than you think. You are loved more than you know, and your future is bigger than your past. And now, if this story touched even a small corner of your heart, then don't let it end here, because stories only live when they are shared. Someone, somewhere, right now, is fighting their storm. Someone is carrying their cross. Someone is crying in silence. Someone believes they cannot rise again. And maybe your one share, your one word, your one action can be the hand that lifts them. Your life is not an accident. You are not breathing without purpose. You were created for more. So today, whisper to yourself, "I am not giving up. I will rise again," just like he did. The world changed because one man believed in love. Now imagine what could happen if you believed too.